So today we are looking at a enhanced threat across most of the kind of northeast Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and northwest part of Louisiana. So what we're expecting is this big line of thunderstorms to move through, and as you can see, there's it's kind of the bullseye in the region. It's kind of where all those states come together. So it's going to be a kind of a busy day overall, and we're going to see some storms starting in Oklahoma and traveling towards that southern part of Arkansas. They're going to be pretty big, and we're going to see these storms change rapidly through the day. So that's why we have an enhanced threat out there. But you're going to have to check out our briefing for exact details on that. Since it is an enhanced day, we are having a briefing talking about what all to expect and what all is potentially going to occur. We have very nice temperatures today across much of the nation. That kind of dip in the jet stream is making its way off really to the east, and we're going to see that kind of exiting, and we see it from really up through Minnesota down through Ohio and then into West Virginia right around kind of that mid-afternoon time, and then that's going to push off into the northeast. So if you live anywhere in the northeast part of the Ohio Valley or the northeast itself, then you are experiencing one last day of kind of some chilly temperatures, and then we do have that warm front making its way in, and we're going to see some very nice temperatures coming up. So a few things to note. I want to note kind of that colder air that is right above Oklahoma and Kansas and Missouri there. We have very warm temps up in the 70s above it and everywhere around it, but you note that there are 50s in that kind of hole there, and that's going to allow the storms to the south to really fire up, because as you see at this time, there's kind of a cut. You could kind of see that triangle into Oklahoma, and what that's going to allow is kind of that dry air to be slotted in there, and that's going to be that's going to allow the chance of severe thunderstorms to go up, because more heating means bigger storms. So that's going to allow that to happen. It's going to be really a warm day down in the south. See temperatures in the upper 70s, low 80s, and even 90s in some portions of Texas and even maybe Florida. But other than that, it's going to be a really nice day for most of the nation. Even up towards Canada, we see temperatures in the 60s. So it's our last day of seeing this all kind of move out, the colder air, and then we'll see the warmer air kind of punch its way in for tomorrow, and then we'll see it warming up throughout the rest of the week. So as we go throughout the day, we're going to see at 1 p.m., really skipping hour we're going to do with this, just to kind of show you and what to expect for the whole day. But really at 1 p.m., we're going to see that this system kind of clumping over Oklahoma, and then at 3 we see it kind of split up into two different systems, and at 3 is when that temperature was taken. And this is a great example of how storms can kind of use up temperature and kind of that heating in an environment. So where the storm splits is on the border of Oklahoma and Arkansas, and we see this really on the temperatures in this exact spot. That northern storm system is going to be a colder storm system, so it looks like, from what we'll see here in a second if this is right, but that should die off. And we look to the south, and we do see a line of severe thunderstorms really form, and then there are going to be some clumps of supercells making their way into Louisiana. So then at 5, we see really that split does occur. We see it really to the north. We see the northern part of that storm die off, and then we see the southern part kind of die off towards the coast, but really we see some cells back building on the side of it. But note, in the western Oklahoma, where there's still that warm air being kind of pulled in, we see this developing supercells. It's kind of a line, kind of a tail off of that main system, and where those are at, it's not in a cold air area yet. So these storms will actually be traveling a different direction, and at 7 we see these strengthen. We see the southern storm kind of back build to the north, and then the eastern part of that southern storm is going to kind of die off, and then we're going to see that northern part kind of die off as it goes to the north, but we're going to see that back side of it kind of moving in a separate direction. And as we go on to 9, we see that it is still strong, and we see a separate piece of energy moving to the north from the southern system that's going to reconnect these at 9 to 10 p.m. And that's really going to allow these storms to build on each other, feed energy back and forth. And whatever one's the biggest at the time, and we'll see that in this briefing, from what it looks like right now, it's going to be a very big storm. And then as we go on to 11, we see that final connection that connects that northern storm and that southern storm. really, at this time, the northern storm starts to die off, and the southern storm kind of starts to rebuild again, and we'll see an overnight severe threat, really, with that backside over the Mississippi River. What we could potentially see is those three lines of storms being a potential danger. So that does it for our forecast for today. Check out our briefing that's going to be posted here in a bit, because it is going to be a very important one to see what energy is going to be placed where, and it's going to be a good kind of in-depth look at what the weather's going to be like in different parts of the country today.